Are you looking to inject some creativity into your new year, but you don't know how? Well, in this video, I'm going to be showing you 8 tips to help you go from creatively stuck to creatively thriving in this new year. You ready? Let's go. Right now is the perfect time to get yourself creatively unstuck. The key? Your mindset. If you learn how to change the way that you think about your own creativity, you'll be able to access it much, much easier. We put way too much pressure on ourselves to always be making incredible art or be making art all the time. That takes me to tip number 1. Make mistakes. When you suffer from perfectionism, you're gonna feel like you can only make art when you feel sure. But if you only make art when you know you're gonna get it right, you're never gonna make art because we're human beings. We make mistakes. That's just kind of our deal. And that's a good thing. It doesn't matter how skilled you are. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing your craft. I used to be a perfectionist and it has held me back more than probably any other thing. This one fear of not getting things just right has single-handedly been the thing that's stopped me from being 10 years more advanced than I am right now. And what finally helped me solve this perfectionism and really make a big difference is this little phrase, done not perfect. That little tiny phrase helped me learn how to embrace my mistakes and jump in and just make stuff. Because listen, it is better to create one bad, truly ugly drawing every single day than to create a perfect piece of art once in a blue moon. And that takes us to tip number 2. I get it. If you're a recovering perfectionist, then it can be a little stressful, the idea of other people viewing and witnessing your ugly drawings. And look, that's okay. That's a normal response to someone who is breaking out of the perfectionist cycle. So instead of fighting it, lean into it and just create a sketchbook that's for your eyes only. That means none of your loved ones can see it, none of your friends. You don't take pictures and share it on social media. It is a sketchbook that is made to be weird. And you don't need to worry about how that affects you as an artist. Just keep it for yourself and it's safe. You're safe. That takes me to tip number 3. You can take your sketchbook game to the next level if you look at some different techniques, which is why I highly recommend that you check out Minnie Small either on YouTube or her book, The 30-Day Sketchbook, because this bad boy is filled with tons of spectacular ideas for ways to fill the pages in your sketchbook. For example, one of the techniques that she talks about in here is one that I never really thought of, and all it is you just get like markers or watercolor or whatever, something that you can use to fill big blocks of color, so that later, whenever you want to sketch, you can just sort of sketch on top of those, and suddenly that page is way more dynamic and visually interesting. There are lots of fun techniques both in this book and in Minnie's YouTube series, and she's not the only resource out there. I'm just a big fan of Minnie's. But either way, just kind of look at some interesting things that you can do in your sketchbook to jazz it up a little bit. That takes me to tip number 4. One way to kickstart your creativity and really generate some fantastic ideas is by just using prompts or tables like Inktober. There's tons of prompts that people put out every year. Or there's things like Mermay, which in the month of May, people put out prompts to help you create a bunch of different types of mermaids. And you don't have to follow them to a T. You do not have to try to create art every single day. You can just use that as a prompt to go at your own pace and just slowly get through all 31 prompts. Or there's my free Roll for Inspiration table where you can roll some dice and get a random combination of prompts so you can try to make something out of that combination. If you just look around for different prompts like that, then you're sure to find lots of options that are going to spark that imagination and get your pen moving on the page. Tip number 5, with intuitive art, you can nix the need for inspiration or ideas. The gist of it is you try to just fill the page with no plan, no pressure. You just make marks, move your pen, and see what happens. This technique can result in a lot of really strange creations, but sometimes it's really cathartic and meditative to just kind of make something without worrying about a plan, about it looking a certain way, representing anything. It's basically like a collection of doodles or colors or patterns that just kind of fall out of you. The next tip is one that I have been using for many, many years, and I'm not joking when I say it changed my life. But before we get into that, I want to tell you just a little bit more about Foxsy. Every single kid is a fearless artist. But somewhere along the way, as we take that journey into adulthood, we sort of lose that ability. We complicate creativity with our adult notions of good art or real artists. But creativity and art, that's for everyone. And let me tell you, I am very passionate about this, and I will die on this hill. And that's why we created Foxsy. Foxsy is an online learning community designed to help you reconnect with your creativity. With dozens of self-paced courses taught by passionate online creators, you can explore new techniques or hone existing skills or just flex your artistic muscle. In fact, you will find courses on intuitive art and roll for inspiration if you want to dive into those topics just a little bit further. Every course on Foxsy offers lessons and hands-on projects that allow you to not only learn the skill, but also practice it in a practical way. Plus, Foxsy has a handy Q&A function, which I think is pretty neat. And we offer project feedback, which means that if you do a project in a course, then you can take a photo of that project, of your art, send it in, and one of the team members on Foxsy's professional creative team will take a look at it and write you back with some actual personalized feedback. And since we're adding new courses and new instructors all the time, you're never gonna run out of stuff to watch and learn and do as you keep growing. We just hit 1 year of Foxsy, and we have accomplished so much since we launched. But you can still get in right now as an early adopter and get a spectacular deal on your membership if you are so interested. So, if you are interested, feel free to click the link down below and go explore, go check it out. Now, on to tip number 6. Some 8 or so years ago, I started doing this little journaling technique called the morning pages. The morning pages is a very simple technique, and I have a video that gets really much more into it, but the gist of it is very simple. Every day when you wake up, you write 3 pages of stream of consciousness journaling. There's obviously an element of having to build a habit to make this happen, but the actual writing is simple enough that anybody can do it. I learned that it has an uncanny ability of unsurfacing a bunch of negative thought patterns, negative habits, things that I was doing to basically sabotage my life. And once I was able to see all those things, I was able to address them. Doing that reflective work and really getting down into the nitty-gritty of my own consciousness, it did wonders in helping me address all of the negative cycles that I had with my creativity. But I realized how I was blocking myself, how I was being held back by fear and anxieties, and it helped me overcome them. There's not a lot of like big aha moments in the pages, although they definitely happen. It's more of an accumulation of your own thoughts after a while. You get sick of writing the same problem over and over again, and you get out of just the complaining phase and you get into the solving phase. I would say if you're gonna try it, try to commit to it for like a month or 2. I very much recommend this technique, and if you're interested in journaling as a form of sort of self-therapy, this is the one. This is the one you should try. You should do this. On to tip number 7. One reason why you might be feeling creatively blocked is sort of a general lack of inspiration. If all you do every single day is work, eat, sleep, then of course you're not gonna have creative ideas bouncing around in your head. You gotta mix it up every once in a while. Not only that, you gotta do things that are nice for yourself, because creativity is fueled by self-love. You can go to a museum, or go and get some ice cream, or go through a stroll through beautiful botanical gardens. The more fun and interesting experiences you have, the more fuel for your creative fire. And that takes us very nicely into the final tip, tip number 8. If you take nothing else away from this video, I want you to learn how to have fun with your art. Making art should be enjoyable, not a chore, not something that you have to force yourself to do. You should be loving the process. You should be getting enough of this process and not worrying so much about the final outcome. You know, it's one of those not about the destination, it's about the journey kind of a deal. And if you don't enjoy the process of making art, then that's a pretty good sign that you're not in the right headspace. When in doubt, approach making art like a kindergartner would. Just dive in and don't worry about what it's gonna look like. Don't worry about what other people think. Just have joy in the process. Go forth with a playful heart and don't take yourself too seriously. I think you'll find it is much, much easier to dive into it, try new things, and just find that creative spark easier and faster every single time. Above all else, be kind to yourself, my friend. You're not gonna make yourself a better person by berating, guilting, or shaming yourself. Ease up, you're doing great. And with that, have fun and Happy New Year from me and from the Foxsy team. See you later.